Arc desktop GPU from Intel. What you need to know about Intel's graphics cards, the Intel Arc desktop GPU. Arc desktop graphics cards from Intel are scheduled to launch next month, but don't anticipate a flagship rival. Intel has been teasing its Arc graphics card lineup for a while, and now, after months of hints, we're finally starting to see the affordable graphics cards start to surface. With moderately priced GPUs that aim for the bottom end of Nvidia's RTX 30 series, Intel's Arc desktop collection, internally known as Alchemist, appears to focus more on general consumers than enthusiast-level gamers. However, performance is still good for the price. Here, we cover all there is to know about the Intel Arc desktop GPU lineup, from the most recent design and spec leaks to information on price and availability dates. When will the desktop GPUs for Intel Arc be available? Although Intel initially stated that their Arc graphics card lineup would be available for desktop computers this summer, the deployment was clearly slower than some had anticipated. In reality, only the entry-level Intel Arc, a 380, was released during the summer, with the rest of the lineup supposedly following soon after. There wasn't much more said until the business declared at the end of September 2022 that the mid-range Intel Arc, a 750, and top-end Intel Arc, a 770, would both go on sale on October 12, 2022. How much will desktop graphics cards made by Intel Arc cost? It's safe to assume that Intel Arc graphics cards are more reasonably priced than the competition, with the top-end Arc, a 770, from Intel costing only $329, as opposed to the identical RTX 3070 from Nvidia costing $499. The $289 Arc, a 750, and the entry-level Arc, a 380, which is even more affordable at $139, continue that trend. That's quite affordable, but keep in mind that's only an MSRP, and depending on the modifications third-party manufacturers make to Intel's reference design, there may be additional costs. Not to be overlooked are scalpers, who have the power to raise prices above MSRP. Even yet, it's encouraging to see Intel's ambitions to keep costs down. News regarding the Intel Arc desktop GPU. During the March 2022 debut of the Intel Arc mobile platform, we got our first glance at the lineup of Intel Arc desktop graphics cards, internally known as Alchemist. It's safe to assume that Intel didn't go to all the work to create a new line of graphics cards in order to sell a small number of them. Instead, it's Intel's take on Nvidia's Founders Edition, which essentially sold a few references to Intel Arc GPUs alongside well-liked third-party equivalents at launch. What can we infer from the teaser for the Arc desktop then? Overall, it has a beautiful design and is simpler than most GPUs, which will be crucial to gamers in 2022 as transparent cases become more common. However, it's important to note that third-party manufacturers will probably have some fun with the design. If Intel's reference design isn't your cup of tea, perhaps one of the many third-party options will. Due to the fact that both cards use Intel's Xe-HPG architecture, we also note that they will have many of the optimizations and capabilities that have been disclosed for Intel's mobile GPUs. This includes support for ray tracing, DX12 Ultimate, Intel's upscaling technique, XeSS, and more. Dedicated Xe cores also provide AI acceleration and a new media engine. Let's now dive into the details. Specifications for the Intel Arc, a 380. Prior to its debut, the Arc a 380 was said to be the least powerful of the line. Today, we have verified specifications to support that claim. On paper, it appears that it might be able to equal the performance of Nvidia's GTX 1650 from the previous generation, which has 6 GB of GDDR6 VRAM and a 2000 mAh's boost clock. Despite being entry-level, it supports ray tracing thanks to its 8 RT cores, 1024 shading units, and 75 WTDP. Specifications for the Intel Arc, a 750. In a now-deleted YouTube video, the Arc A750 can be seen aiming after the Nvidia RTX 3060. In that since-deleted video, Intel also displayed graphs that appeared to show the A750 outperforming the RTX 3060 in a number of titles, including F1 2021, Control, and Fortnite, while the Cyberpunk 2077 benchmark test achieved a consistent 59 frames per second at 2560 x 1440 on high graphics settings. In actuality, Intel asserts a rise of up to 17%, but only in the mentioned titles. Days later, Intel released a second video demonstrating improved performance in Death Stranding, attaining between 85 and 100 frames per second FPS on the game's default graphics setting when used in conjunction with a Core i9 12900 900K with an Asus ROG Maximus Z690 Hero motherboard. Intel didn't release the whole spec until late September, and it appears that the A750 and A770 aren't that different from one another. The A750 has 28 Xe cores, which is just 4 less than the most advanced variant, although it operates at a somewhat slower 2050 mAh boost frequency. Together, they have a TBP of just 225W and 8 GB of 16 JEPs GDDR6 VRM. Specifications for the Intel Arc A770. The top-tier graphics card in Intel's current lineup, the Intel Arc A770 is at the other end of the spectrum. Despite being the top-tier Intel card, don't expect it to compete with the RTX 4080. Rather, it's expected to perform similarly to the Nvidia RTX 3070, while costing the same as the RTX 3060. The business released specifications that include up to 16 GB of GDDR6 memory at 17.5 gaps with a 2100 mAh boost clock and 32 Xe cores. Benchmarks also indicate promise at the 1080p level, even with ray tracing enabled, according to the company. Without providing more details, Intel asserts that its ray tracing performance will be 65% better than the competition. Arc A770 and RTX 3060 benchmark comparison at 1080 with RTX on. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell and like button.